Many Islamic scholars and businessmen have strong opinions on the time value of money, TVM. The question of how much it is like interest is still an important one, especially when interest is determined using TVM. So, most of the people who say that TVM is illegal in Islam do so because TVM is a well-known financial idea in traditional economics that is used to explain why interest should be paid on the loan capital. The way Muslims see TVM is different from the way most people see it because in Islam, seeing TVM doesn't mean you can make money by making money like in most other banking systems. If TVM is okay in Islam, it should be different from how normal finance sees it, especially when it comes to how it works and what it means for money. There is no doubt that the idea of positive time preference (PTP) is at the height of the major case for TVM in traditional finance. So, the Islamic view on the idea of PTP is carefully looked at to show how it differs from the common view. It is interesting to look at this idea from an Islamic point of view because Islam doesn't allow interest, but it doesn't reject the idea of PTP in TVM, even though it is used to defend interest in traditional economics. There are three things that make TVM legal in Islam. First, the idea of PTP. Second, the fact that a different price can be used for a cash sale versus a credit sale. And last, Islamic law maxims. This presentation explains these three bases to show the difference between the common and Islamic views on TVM.
For literature review, time value of money or TVM in Islamic finance. First point is classical jurists and financial transaction. Classical jurists indirectly discuss TVM in financial transaction like murabahah, bilateral ibrah, stipulate different period in loan and zakat. Al-Dain recognized financial effect of time dimension, deferment, ajal, spot hal, and acceleration ajal. Second point is TVM in Islamic finance versus riba. Classical jurists didn't explicitly differentiate TVM feature from riba. Modern Islamic thinkers like Maududi and Akram Khan criticized TVM, link it into interest in capitalist economy. Classical discussion suggests Islamic recognition of TVM with deferment earning a portion in the price. Next is differentiating TVM in Islam. Contemporary scholars such as Al-Turki and Uklah distinguish permissible instrument in a differential from impermissible increment in a loan contract. Attempt to differentiate time factor using riba from those avoiding riba but promoting fairness. Next is TVM in project evaluation. Scholars like Kaf invoke TVM in project evaluation using net present value (NPV) to determine fair value by discounting future value for present compensation. Anal Al-Zakra notes positive time preference (PTP) as one of this national pattern of intertemporal choice. Next is debate on PTP in real life. An ongoing debate on PTP, Al-Masri view it as a natural preference for present consumption, while Kaf sees it as an investment phenomenon. And the last part is study objective. For study objective, complementing classical and contemporary scholars, the study aims to determine the Islamic viewpoint on TVM and suggests comprehensive parameter for its application in Islamic finance.
For the theory of positive time preference, originating in his book Positive Theory of Capital, Austrian economist Eugen von Baumbach coined this concept. Present goods, he argues, are more highly valued by individuals than future ones of the same sort and quantity, because the market price of an item is determined by the sum of its subjective valuations. The market value of an item in the present is typically greater than the market value of an item in the future of the same sort and quantity. Despite the theory's success, it was met with opposition from ideas like negative time preference and zero time preference. Some academics contend that PTP is grounded in fundamental human tendencies such as the preference for instant gratification over delayed rewards. Next, about the view of classical jurists on the superiority of the present to the future represent between buyer and seller concerning the time of deferment. It showed the articles like the belief held by Zufar and Al-Shafi that both said that the buyer and seller must take an oath attesting to the truthfulness of their assertion. And this article also promotes the idea that now is better than the future. This is covered in his talk about lying in a murabahah contract. Next, about the contemporary scholars have different views regarding the superiority of the present to the future. In his fight to eradicate riba, Akram shares Maududi's perspective in rejecting the idea of positive time preference. He claims that the time value of money is illegal on grounds of the reason. Next, Rafiq Yunus fully consensus with the classical jurists that previously stated opinions on this matter. Positive time preference is opposed by some academics through for a variety of reasons that state in majority of their arguments are logical proof by the article.
Time preference is important not only in the field of deferred sales and funding operations, but also in the field of feasibility studies, project evaluation, and choice between them. The acknowledgement of time value of money in Islamic economics leads to a time preference change. In the economic view, it is recognized that the monetary sums on a time axis have different values even if they are equal in amount, so economic agents express a time preference. In the contrary, if there is no time value of money, the preference becomes only for the present and there is no incitation for the future. Obviously, the time preference is a preference for the present over the future due to some factors, mainly the risk and liquidity. Time preference behavior is based on the time value of money through the reward level during a period of investment. In the social view, the time preference is not related to monetary rewards. It is based on anticipated rewards which are not precisely quantified by the economic agents.
The maxim distinguish an increment ziyadah on the principal for postponed loan payment and an increase on the spot price for deferred sales by mu'ajjal. Financial counter values in price are only recognized by Sharia if they are linked to the initial price of the product. Time can only be expressed in monetary terms indirectly. In contrast, where Sharia acknowledge positive time value, a transacted commodity is essential to prohibit money for time exchange and money making. This maxim means that the different methods are affected by principal rulings. Time may be a secondary factor in the contract and its price should be linked to the principal commodity. Deferred payment shall include time in the price since it is valued alongside the subject content al-ma'abid of the contract rather than being sold separately.
Next is parameters of TVM in Islamic finance. In contemporary of Islamic finance, TVM is closely related to riba. To avoid suspicion and substance of riba, any monetary increment from time value contract must be linked to the commodity's price. And also can avoid riba anasiyah, which occurs when time is exchanged independently without linking it to the commodity. To increase in a transaction, like in buy al-murabaha, it is considered as a legitimate profit, not riba, because it does not involve any money becoming. The difference between riba-bearing loan and a deferred sale is crucial. A loan contract increment due to deferred payment is a debt responsibility, while a deferred sale increment is the price of the contracted commodity for which the buyer is held responsible in exchange the deferment benefit. The increment in a loan contract is not associated with anything, while the increment in deferred sale is ancillary. In a deferred sale, an increase in price is exchanged for deferment in association with the original commodity price, not independently. This concept differs from the conventional time value of money, which emphasizes exchanging money for deferment to compensate for opportunity loss. Money in a deferred sale is not treated as a commodity, allowing for the application of TVM.
Time value money is vital in determining the net present value of asset in Islamic finance, but is reliant on interest rate raises concern about Sharia compliance. The debate arises when discounting future value and cost, integral to investment theory, is linked to interest rate. Question emerged about applying discounting in the productive process and potential violation of Islamic economic principle. From the TVM perspective, discounting in project evaluation aligns with positive time preference accepted in Islam as part of human nature, fitrah, recognizing deferment for present consumption preference. Islam allows discounting future cash flow at a certain rate to compare present and future values, justifying an increment in a murabahah contract as deferment earn a portion of the price, ensuring justice in exchange contract. Project evaluation involves discounting the future value at the TVM rate to determine present value, in line with classical juristic views, emphasizing the need to know the value of land produced at the time of calamity. Challenges to Al-Dasuki's view question the accepted opinion, suggesting a focus on the value of each tract when harvested, recognizing deferment impact on valuation when possessed at the time of existence but paid for in advance.
I conclude that Islam recognizes TVM differently from mainstream finance, both theoretically and practically. Islam allows a defined rise in the price of a future sale as payment for time if it is related to the item's price. Deferment cannot be paid for with a defined additional sum unrelated to the traded goods price. In a loan contract, deferment is valued without regard to the goods transferred. Riba is forbidden because interest keeps money creating money. Islamic banking uses it differently from traditional banking. TVM is an extra payment made to a selling deal Islam. This can be used for markup and delayed sales. In a loan arrangements, repayment is delayed but the benefit is greater. The present is better than the future unless a future investment yields a larger return. For the same reason, someone who stops spending money will get more in the hereafter. This treatment follows fitrah, which implies individuals favor the now over the future. Conventional finance accepts TVM as a predetermined increase in a loan capital. Islam does not because it makes money, which is forbidden.